Hey guys, what's up? Green and Sam back with another video, and today we have another 2K24 roster update guide. Now I'm going to go over a lot of what I've been working on, as well as just some other stuff, as well as some other information regarding other rosters and stuff. But let's go ahead and get into things. First and foremost, this is a next-gen exclusive roster. This is for PS5 and the newer Xboxes. I do not have any old-gen rosters. It already takes enough to get, the three rosters that I do, one for 2K23, 2K24, and Madden. It already takes enough time out of my day trying to get those caught up to date and kept up to date. I don't really have time for a fourth roster. I'm sure there's plenty of good rosters out there. You just will probably have to look harder. Remember, downloads don't always mean everything. Just go try to find a video. Somebody will post a video on TikTok or YouTube going over their roster and stuff, and I would assume there's one or two decent ones out there that you guys can definitely go find. So first and foremost, you guys will want to head over to the Features tab, of course, and you will want to head to Create Roster, NBA Modern Current, User Created. And once you're here, you're going to want to push triangle on your controller and search by Online ID. If you search by Online ID, all my rosters will come up, and of course, with 2K, it has always been a problem, especially since I've been updating the rosters, that corrupt files happen a lot, right? Anytime stuff goes on, there's a chance that your file could get corrupted. So you will want to download one of the top three rosters: NBA offseason, draft, and free agency, or roster update. One of these is your best option. They're going to have all the up-to-date moves and everything. Copy, I didn't even mean to update, and then the other one is an older one. Of course, we do have rookies. Rookies, if you have not heard from me anyway, all the rookies that I add to the roster are based off of when they are drafted and not how I think of them, just because then it gives them a fair chance. If I like a player, I don't want to be unbiased and make him a 79 or 80, and if I dislike a player, I don't want to make him a 66. So it is fair and balanced. Jared McCain, 73. Adem Bona is a 69, and of course undrafted guys are 66s. David Jones is very weird because I've seen multiple sources stating he has different height. Hell, I've seen one source say he was 6'2", and another source say he's 6'7", and then there's one that says he's 6'6", and then there's one that says he's 6'4". So, I'm still going back and forth on how big he is supposed to be. Of course, we all know the thing, NBA players lie about their height all the time. Kevin Durant for the longest time said he was 6'9", and then he stands next to Shaq and is basically the same height, and you're like, hold on, which one of you fuckers is lying? But as you guys can see, all the free agency moves have been updated, of course. The one thing I dislike about 2K24, well, one of the things I dislike about 2K24 more than 2K23, especially, is that there's no line for the roster. On 2K23, you can see their contract when you're hovering over a player. I think that's one of the only things I really dislike about 2K24, because then you can't see people, the contracts, and it makes it easier for people to judge your roster and stuff without having to go into each and every single player, because you can't even bring up the contract in the player card menu, which is fucking stupid. You can bring it up apparently in my eras, but you can't bring it up, of course, in fucking the roster. Because you guys can see Kenyon Martin Jr. there. And then, of course, I have been adding the two-way guys. Raekwon Gray getting traded from Sacramento, part of the deal with Chris Duarte, DeMar DeRozan, and Harrison Barnes. And then, of course, other guys getting signed as well. So those guys are being added. I will go over this because this is one of the only teams that has it. The Clippers have so many players currently on their team that I cannot actively add them. And the players that they do have are on certain contracts, like Cam Christie, brother of Max Christie, and of course Kai Jones is also on a new contract. So I'm not going to make them two-way guys. They are on the G League team. If you want them, you can add them easily to their team. And then of course you have the Memphis Grizzlies with their two-way guys, and then of course Nikola Drusic. He's also a guy that I don't know if he's technically considered on two-way yet. If he is, then that is fine. Garrison Matthews, another guy where, because they signed Vit Korenik to a 4-year, $10 million deal, it was between, sending Liddell, sending Guy, sending Korenik down to the two-way guy. Garrison Matthews only has 1 year left on his deal, so that just made the most sense to me, of course. The Heat do have another guy in Isaiah Stevens. I still need to add him to the G League team, but he is on the roster currently. Juzang just re-signed to the Jazz, of course. And you can go through the roster yourself. Now, of course, there are some guys and a lot of rookies that still haven't picked out jersey numbers yet. So I try to do my best based off of what they wore in college or just the jersey number that looks good / isn't retired on their particular team. Now, of course, it's not always perfect and not always lines up on 100%. I have been moving players around as well. For the most part, at least when I run a team in my eras, I like to have 3 players at each position, with them being able to play different positions as their secondary position, as well as I do want to create the best overall lineup for those teams so that they are good to go. I think Peyton Watson's the wrong overall. I'll have to look at that. I think Peyton Watson's supposed to be a 76 because when you move a power forward or a shooting guard to small forward, they go up 1 overall. So I think that that's incorrect. So I will have to look at that eventually. Like I said, I try to move players around not only based off of what I think they should be playing as, but where they will more than likely be playing as well. I think these guys are supposed to be 66. Oh my god, why do I have so much shit wrong with my roster? Like I said, changing positions sometimes changes overalls as well. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you guys can go check out, of course. I've tried to keep the ages up to date as much as possible. Now, of course, I still need to go through and get a couple of the July birthdays done, as well as some of these back-end teams I haven't been able to go back through and really readjust. But with that being said, this is the main part of the roster. This is probably why most of you guys are here. Now, let's get into, of course, the specialized team. First and foremost, you're going to head over to the 77 Philadelphia 76ers. This is the select team that was practicing against, of course, the Team USA, and of course some of the guys that will be at the end of the bench if need be, if somebody needs to fill in. We also saw Langston Galloway, I think, on the bench. I don't know how much, if he got any playtime against Canada in their exhibition game, but he is there as well. Next team you guys can scroll to that is custom made will be this team. This team is just something I like to put together every now and then just to make me sad and upset. This is everybody that was either drafted by the Lakers or their first appearance in the NBA, of course, at the NBA, not in the G League or something of that nature. These are all the Lakers over the last 10 years. So this would be the team. Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, Hart, Kuzma, Zubac. Now, what I mean by drafted is, of course, again, their first appearance in the NBA was for this team. Because as you guys know, sometimes the NBA is a little funky. A lot of guys get traded on draft night. So guys like Hart and Kuzma, I don't think were technically drafted by the Lakers. But let's be real. They were drafted by the Lakers just because their first appearance for the Lakers was, the first appearance in the NBA was for the Lakers. So you can go through, look at all the players. This is from the last 10 years and including this year's draft, of course, with Ronnie James and Dalton Connect, of course. So there is that. Nothing too special. Just something that I like to do every now and then if I have the free time. This is a work in progress team. I haven't got a whole ton done with it. This is one of the teams that I'm currently going to be working on. Is the Jimmy Butler 76ers, the team that lost to the 18-19 Raptors. So as you guys can see, we have the main 5, and then we do have to get a lot of guys that have retired since then. So this is the main 5 so far. Of course, like I said, I'm working on it. It will become a working progress. It is a team that I do want to get done, though. And then, of course, the 1 and 2 jersey nets is Team USA from this year. Of course, we have already replaced Kawhi Leonard with Derek White. If you really want Kawhi Leonard, you can easily copy over this guy with Kawhi Leonard's import DNA. You can easily have him back on the team, of course. I don't think there's any other teams in this area, at least the yearly teams. I think most of the other teams that I've done are going to be on the all-time teams. I will say I have one other one in mind besides the Jimmy Butler 76ers, and it is the 18 Rockets. The Rockets that took, of course, the Golden State Warriors to 7 games. That's one I want to do. But once you get to the Philadelphia all-time team, this is the 2012 Team USA, probably one of the most highly recognizable Team USAs. Of course, it does have some of the select team players as well as some of the guys that you would have seen from the Kyrie Irving clip. And then, of course, Griffin, who got injured and left Team USA, and Anthony Davis replaced. And then, of course, Eric Gordon, apparently the last player cut from the tryouts outside of Anthony Davis, who did get called back up once Blake Griffin went down. And of course, like I said, you see Hayward, you see Leonard, you see Taj Gibson, and you see Kyrie all in the background. Or, of course, in Kyrie's situation, the primary ball handler in the famous Team USA clip. So there is that one as well. The all-time Clippers is Team France. Now, of course, I don't have as many players for this. I will hope to get some more players for this done, as well as I do need to go through and get jersey numbers swapped out correctly. So I know Victor Wembanyama is wearing, I think, 34 or something like that. So you have Bilal Colby, Koulibaly, Nicholas Batum. Killian Hayes I added because I figured without him, it would take the roster down quite a bit. So I decided to add him back to Team France, even though, yes, he did get cut from Team France. Evan Fournier, Frank Ntilikina, Theo Maladon, Vincent Poirier, and Gershon. I'm not even going to pronounce that name. And, of course, just some filler players. Of course, like I said, I'm going to try to work on that one as well. That's one of the 3 that I'm currently trying to work on. And then we'll head to the all-time Lakers. This is the 2011 Lakers, the team that lost to Dallas in 4, if I believe correctly. So it's a team I like playing with. So I added them, and then of course boosted their overalls because back in from 2010 to about 2014, overalls were very, very fucking different. Your superstars were in the 90s, your stars were in the 80s, your starters were in the 70s, and your role players were in the 60s and 50s. It was fucking insane. It's so different compared to nowadays. Next team we're going to be taking a look at is, of course, the Detroit all-time Pistons. This is the 92 Redeem Team. Dream Team. Sorry, why do I keep fucking those up? This is the 92 Dream Team. Michael Jordan, David Robinson, Charles Barkley, Magic Johnson, Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, Larry Bird, Scottie Pippen, Isaiah Thomas. And then I'll go over this in just a second. Dominique Wilkins, Chris Mullin, Clyde Drexler, John Stockton, Larry Johnson, Shaq, and Christian Laettner. Of course, I added a couple extra guys. Of course, Shaq was probably one of the biggest names getting snubbed, as well as Isaiah Thomas, and then Larry Johnson, and of course, Dominique Wilkins were also considered big snubs at the time for making the team, just because of their point scoring and stuff like that. And Shaq was the player that was left out compared to Christian Laettner. Everybody had Shaq as the number 1 college guy, and for some reason Laettner got picked. Then if you scroll one spot over to the all-time Raptors, this is Team Canada. Since Team Canada has a lot of NBA players, this was pretty easy to make. And of course, we will go over a couple things as well. Aaron Wiggins dropped out, I think Aaron Wiggins and Zach Edey dropped out. And then I think it was Kyle Anderson, O'Shea Brissett, and Leonard Miller got cut. And then everybody else should be correct. So there is that. Like I said, Zach Edey and Aaron Wiggins left on their own. Because Edey and Wiggins both said that they wanted to focus on the upcoming NBA season. And then Miller, Brissett, and of course, Kyle Anderson got cut as the final cut for them as well. The last but not least team, of course, is the Redeem Team. This is going to be the Redeem Team. Now, of course, the common trend, of course, is having the actual team on there and having a couple extra players. Elton Brand was from the 07 FIBA team, as well as Stoudemire. And then, of course, Battier was part of the 06 FIBA team. I felt like adding him to give them a little bit more size and strength as well. So there is some guys on extra teams just so that you guys will have a full team if you guys want to use them. Try to do a lot of the red, white, and blue teams just to try to make it fair. And Team Canada was kind of obvious. Raptors are the only team from Canada, so may as well make them. So, like I said, and then, of course, if you scroll over to the Ontario Clippers, they have Kai Jones and King Christie, like I said. And the Houston Rockets do have Dante, the center, undrafted. So he is there as well. So that should just about cover everything, all the teams on the current roster. Like I said, I plan on making the Rockets that took the Warriors to Game 7. I plan on making the Jimmy Butler 76ers, and then finishing Team France, as well as maybe 1 or 2 other Olympic teams. Of course, the more NBA players on those Olympic teams, the easier it's going to be able to create. The less NBA players, the harder it's going to be to create. So some of the teams will not be made. I'll try to. And then one more thing I do want to go over before we get out of here, of course. NBA 2K23 roster update is almost officially done. I do have a couple more things. I've been overhauling a lot of it. Just trying to get everything done again. It covered a good chunk of the free agency stuff, but now I'm trying to get the rookies done and more free agency stuff done, and just all in all, just get the roster fully done before I really push it out. So So that will hopefully be coming out tomorrow in a video. And then Monday, we will have the scenario for 2K24 uploaded. I don't plan on doing a scenario for 2K23, but I will have a scenario with all the updated free agency and roster moves for 2K24 by Monday. I know I told somebody last week that it was supposed to be done midweek. Sorry, things got away from me. Just life happens, right? So we will have the scenario Monday for everybody to use, and then of course we will have the 2K23 roster update tomorrow. Today is Saturday the 13th, so go check out those videos when they come out. But with that being said, guys, if you guys enjoy this content or the content here on my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys do stick around and subscribe. I'll be back with more videos like this, but with that being said, I'm out. Peace.